Hello everybody, this is Mr. Bowman. Today we're going to be looking at function notation. So this is not anything fundamentally new, it's just a shift in how we write things. So after we looked at what functions were, there are some very helpful things to know about them. So it's helpful to know off the bat whether what you're looking at is a function or not. So if it is, we'll change it from something like y equals 3x minus 1, and we're going to make one little shift. We're going to change that y into f of x. Okay. Now it doesn't always have to be f. It could be a g or an h or a something else. But that notation of letter parenthesis x tells you that it is a function. Okay, so that is known as function notation. You may also see this a lot, which is just telling you that the y and f of x are the same thing. But there is something very important to note here. F of x, this is one symbol, okay? It is not multiplication. Not multiplication. It's not f times x. It's pronounced f of x. So, after you get over that small hurdle of knowing it's not multiplication, it's practically the same thing, okay? So what'll change is you may be trying to say find f of 2, okay? All that changed here is x turned into 2. That's all I want to do is I want to change all the x's to 2's. So I'm going to plug a 2 in for x here, subtract 1, and then f of 2 doesn't change. It just stays that way the entire way down. You're not going to try and solve for f or anything like that. So it's 3 times 2 is 6 minus 1, so f of 2 equals 5. Done. That's it. Okay, that is your answer. If you want it as a point, like how we would have x, y values, you can still get it from here because your x is still visible. So your point would be 2, 5. Okay, so this notation is a shift in how we're writing it. It's not a change in anything else. Okay, if it really bothers you at the beginning, if you see f of x or g of x or something like that, you want to change it to a y, that's fine. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's just a notational change. So, some ways these show up. If we know f of x is going to be now equal to x squared plus 1, and maybe we'll have another one. We'll have g of x, that's 6x minus 7 or whatever. Okay, then you have to be careful. So f and g are the names of our function. So if I'm trying to find f of 10 and g of 10, I have to know which function I'm plugging them into. So that's where the letters come in. So f of 10 means plug 10 into the f function. G of 10 says plug 10 into the g function. So I'm going to come up there for each of those and do 10 squared plus 1. Finish this one up before I deal with g. So that's 100 plus 1. So it's 101. Once again, not dividing or doing anything like that because it's not multiplication. If you haven't picked up on this yet, the most common mistake people make here is they think it's multiplication, which throws off your test answers and your quizzes and everything else. So you need to get over that hurdle. If you can do that, you're going to be just fine. Okay, so I plug in 10 for the x here. That's 60. So if I subtract 60 minus 7, that's going to be 53. Okay, so try this one. Try and find f of 1. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video for a second, see if you can do that quickly, and then jump back in. Okay, hopefully you got that down. So we're going to plug 1 in. So which one am I plugging it into? I'm going to plug it into f. So I'm going just this first one. So it's 1 squared plus 1. So 1 squared is 1. So f of 1 comes out to be 2. Done. All right, one more. Let's try a g one this time. So we're going to use this one. Find g of 107. Okay, pause the video. Try that one out. Okay. So hopefully you got a chance and paused long enough that you could solve that one. So what we're going to do here is plug that in for x. 6 times 107 minus 7. Remember, do your multiplication first. Don't get in the trap of trying to subtract 7 and say the answer is 600. It is not. Okay, so I need to do that multiplication first. I end up with 642. Now I can subtract my 7 and say that's 42, so 635. Okay, so that's all function notation is. You're going to see different ways of writing it, different ways of solving it. Just be very careful and remember you're not multiplying. So after you plug in your number, you're going to plug it in for like both x's, so 10, 10. That f of 10 is a single thing. You're not going to try and do anything. It's already isolated. You just need to clean up the other side.